war rages across the mortal realms. New alliances are formed while others lie shattered, and the dominant powers ever seek their next conquest. As these two powerful forces prepare to clash, one fact is becoming clear. The season of war has begun. This battle is brought to you by our channel members and FLGS partners, Warpfire Minis and X-Planet.
Hello and welcome to Season of War! Tonight we are very excited to bring you another game of Age of Sigmar. Excited for a couple reasons, Jake. There's another one of the Dawnbringer books, yes, and a couple armies of renown with that. So we got the first one on showcase today. We mixed up our schedule or reversed our schedule this week so that we could have this first public game, or the public game this week, obviously be the premiere with this on Saturday. So I'm excited to play this. So playing the Sylvaneth Army of Renown, we'll get into stuff in a little bit, but yes, very excited for a number of reasons. As Jake, you are a Sylvaneth player as well.
I'm excited to get smashed by this. Yeah. I'm honored.
Yes.
This is awesome.
It'll be a lot of fun. So yeah, again, we'll talk through everything as we go. But to jump into the mission we're playing, it is no reward without risk.
Yes.
So it's pretty standard, hold one, hold two, hold more storing. And then the twist with this one is if wizards die on a 4-up, they explode and deal D3 mortal wounds to everything near it. So there's that element to it. There's also one very interesting omission in this list, which is the restriction of not deploying within 9 inches of your opponent's territory.
Yeah.
Deployments go up to center and they touch there. So in theory, again, this has been through 2 FAQs now, so everyone's kind of at the standpoint where like, okay, I guess this was intended. But you can deploy basically up to your opponent's territory in the middle, so you could literally deploy into combat. There's nothing stopping you from doing that.
Yep.
I was a 1-drop here. Jake, you made me deploy first, so knowing I was gonna have choice, I kind of put myself in a position where I was kind of in between both to give away the turn, but if you are on the line, I could also take it. So we both ended up not being within that 9-inch bubble anyways.
Yeah, we respect each other too much. These armies look a little too strong in melee, so slower pace.
Exactly, exactly. You don't want to open yourself up too much to some big attacks. But that's the mission. Jake, do you want to take us through your effect list first?
Yes, so I'm back. This is the third in what has been a cursed series in Season of War history.
Yes.
A small recap, if you've been following along, or maybe you've missed the previous two. So our first battle was on the cusp of the transition from the Galatian Champions book to the Antorian season. And that was when Feck had lost the very favorable Galatian Champion rules and had not yet gained the Antorian, the first Dawnbringer's War Scrolls.
Yes, exactly.
And at that time was also, as you remember very well, before the FAQ came out that changed the Warsong Bomb to unmodified casting rolls. So that was a game of me eating 30 mortal wounds every turn in the hero phase.
And then like the days, after that battle report came out, or the day after we played, something like that. All those changes all came out or all went public, and we found out about them, so we hadn't known. So we basically played that game. It came out, and then instantly was like irrelevant in terms of just like the rules moved on, so it wasn't the most up to date. So we refilmed that game.
We ran it back.
Yes.
And this time, I cheated you because I had all the Beast Player summoning, which. Of course, I was singing it from the rooftops that this was totally busted.
You got 2 Archregents,
out the wazoo.
40 Beast Players for free.
Sometimes I got up to 50 before it eventually got FAQ'd, which coincidentally, about a couple days after our game, maybe a week tops, it was FAQ'd.
So we've played 2 games. Both those games, there were immediate changes right after they came out. So we are playing a third, and those games were split between Sylvaneth and Fleck. So this is
for all the marbles. This settles it.
And notably, we waited for the changes to play this game. So we got the fresh changes for this game. Hopefully, there's no more change. Oh well, I mean, Flesh Eaters were, like you said, adjusting that first book. Sylvaneth in this one. So we're not expecting any changes to these guys anytime soon. So fingers crossed.
Won't be a 4th game. Okay, so in terms of my list, I tried to bring something different from my previous 2 lists. Definitely more of, if you, for sure we've played in tournaments together, we played a team tournament together. I've been playing a very Beast Player heavy list, not summoning them, just putting them in my list. Been enjoying that. But in this list, going towards a more experimental, bit more of a fun vibe. Hollowmorn list, basing this around having lots of foot heroes, including a Smash Haunter Courtier that I'm going to try to ferry around with the flares, got the Archregent, who you never leave home without. I've got the Ghoul King on foot. I've got 2 Vargulf Couriers, one with the Bilious Decanter, and then I've got the 1 Crypt Haunter Courtier. And my 6th hero, yes, 6, is the Terrorgeist, who another fixture.
Yep.
Hopefully we'll get some work done in this matchup, because he does have that big scary Mortal Wound Bite. In terms of troops, I've got 2 times 10 Crypt Ghouls, very good screening and actually quite damaging for their cost now. They are auto wounding and do have rank 1. We've got 1 block of 9 horrors, much more common to see Feck either run 2 times 9 or sometimes 3 times 6 horrors, but trying something new. And then we're rounding that out with 3 flares, mostly to make use of their new Dawnbringer ability to ferry a hero around.
Yeah.
This is something I saw in a GT recently. I think it was shoutouts to the Michigan GT. I saw someone was running this little tech. So I said, oh, that's cute. Looks fun. Would be nice to have a hero that could potentially move 28 if Deranged Transformation goes off and get ferried a further 12.
Yep.
A little bit goofy. I don't know if that'll come up, but I hope it does.
Yeah.
That's my list. I'm 1960 points. I'm valuing that +1 to Wound Triumph, because for Feck, if you fight twice, it's really 2 triumphs. So I like to bid on it. And then we are double Warlord. I've got 2 extra relics.
Nice.
So
Awesome.
We've got the +1 to cast,
Yep.
the Robe, the Bilious Decanter, and the Hollowmorn Corpse Gauntlet on the Terrorgeist.
Nice. And then I guess looking over at Sylvaneth, I am playing the Evergreen Hunt. So this is the new sub-faction that's an army of renown in the latest book. And it's all about our big boy Balthanos, who's obviously the new super sweet model and addition to this army. Everyone's so excited. I'm sure everyone will be super excited about this model, but honestly, yeah, I can't sing its praises enough. But he's obviously the centerpiece of this army. And other than that, it's all kind of centered around like the Great Hunt, all that kind of theme with the Kurnoth, which is awesome. So it's all about Kurnoth. Actually, you're restricted to Kurnoth and then the mounted buds, the Bud Riders, and himself, and an Arch Revenant.
Yes.
So there's not a lot of flexibility or options, as is kind of typical in these armies of renown. So in the army, I have a unit of 6 Kurnoth Hunters with scythes, 3 Kurnoth Hunters with swords, a unit of 6 Kurnoth Hunters with bows, the aforementioned Arch Revenant, who is my general. I didn't actually take the sub-faction. There's only 1 command trait and artifact available. Didn't love them, so he's got Master of Magic Arcane Tome, because I actually did still bring the Spite Swarm Hive. Okay. So that'll allow him to cast that.
Sure.
Balthanos obviously is a big centerpiece, and then I have a unit of 3 Revenant Seekers who will I have a bunch more to build up and paint, but even just 3 are going to be value for bringing
recursion in the army of all these models. Can't underrate it.
Yeah, super good. Also, I don't have access with the restriction to wizards, so the Arcane Tome is actually super big for giving me potential battle tactic. Because I'm also restricted in the battle tactics and everything. I lose all the normal allegiance ones.
Sure. Yep.
And I do want to say a big thank you to Games Workshop for sending us an advanced copy of this box set and the rules that came out with the new Dawnbringers book. So obviously super excited. Hope you guys enjoy this battle as we get into things. Jake, I came in out of 1 drop.
Say it.
There wasn't a lot of flexibility with the list building. So I'm actually 70 points down.
Oh no!
So I'll get the triumph today.
No!
Because again, my lowest cost thing is a hero at 120 points, and then anything else is like 220.
Sure.
And I was 110 left, so I took the on the spell, and that's where we're sitting. So I do have choice. You know what's happening, Jake?
I know what's happening.
Yeah, up to you to decide how fast we get into things.
Yeah.
But we're gonna jump into Flesh-Eater Courts turn 1.
Rallying both their entire court and their subjects, the Flesh Eater's battle tactic is magical dominance. The Ghoul King on Terrorgeist and Balthanos both use heroic leadership. Then the Sylvaneth target the horrors to be their first quarry. The Ghoul King on Terrorgeist casts Unholy Vitality on the horrors, but the Ghoul King fails to cast Hoarfrost. The Archregent casts Deranged Transformation on the horrors and Ferocious Hunger on the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist. The Flesh Eater heroes spend 2 command points to summon 2 units of 3 Flayers and 10 more ghouls. Taking a measured approach with their strategy, the Flesh Eaters complete their battle tactic and score 5 points.
Okay, what a turn one that was. I've been in this position many, many times. When you play a million drops, you get used to going first. And so the great challenge of every Feck player is to resist the urge to run in at full speed screaming. And I've successfully done that this turn. I opted instead just to set up my battle lines. I got all my buffs off. So we've got the defensive buffs on the horrors, which after you called them as a quarry target. We've got some offensive buffs screened as best I can. And I got my summons up. So I cashed in my 5 points uncontested because I deployed my wizards out of range for Magic Dome. And I'm just bracing as much as I can for the coming of the Wild Hunt.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of where the action starts. I have some speed in the sub-faction, so I could go racing in.
Good.
Similarly, don't know if that's the best choice. We'll see where we end up. Going into Sylvaneth, turn 1.
Eager to undertake the Evergreen hunt to honor Kurnoth, the Sylvaneth battle tactic is magical dominance. The Arch Revenant uses heroic leadership, while a Vargulf uses heroic willpower. Belthanos uses nature etheric and makes the terrain arcane. Tapping into primal magic, the Arch Revenant casts the Spiteswarm Hive, but it fails to grant its vital venoms to the Kurnoth hunters. Classic Sylvaneth. The Kurnoth with bows take aim at the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist, but are unable to deal any damage. Meeting their prey's caution with their own patience, the Sylvaneth complete their battle tactic and score 5 points.
Sylvaneth turn 1 was equally exciting, equally no damage done, unfortunately.
Yeah,
despite some like decent shooting in with the Kurnoth. Now they've never been amazing.
No.
But they've been solid and their range is good.
Yep.
You don't have great saves, but here one of the downsides, obviously, even with the all-out attack, 3s and 2s dropped a bunch throughout. You made 3 of 3 saves, and that was that. So disappointing there. I was hoping to actually not unfeasible to put 6-8 damage on him.
Yep.
Especially with no Finest Hour or Mystic Shield. So with an all-out defense, you're just back to your base save.
Yep.
So that's what I was hoping for, to really kind of scare you about sending stuff in. I have also kind of, I went for set up a potential play, was just kind of seeing how the thing sequenced out and happened to see if I wanted to do it. But I could have, with the buffs in this army and the Spiteswarm Hive, I could have moved my Kurnoth Hunters 14 inches, which is amazing, with a run, auto run 6.
And
then been charging at
+3.
Yeah, +3.
Yeah.
So my thought with that is I would have had the opportunity to be outside 3 of the ghouls.
Yep.
Shoot the ghouls off with the bows, and then, or at least shoot enough that I can get piling around.
Sure.
And get into the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist.
Yes.
Now, that combo sounds amazing. I don't have Striking Fate in this subfaction, so it was going to be riskier.
Yeah, you'd be stuck there.
Yes, but it's the bigger block. They're kind of in an awkward spot compared to where your horrors are.
Yep.
Yeah, so it could have been interesting. Again, don't know that was going to be the right call anyways, but rolling the one on the Spiteswarm Hive made my decision easy, yes. So I've got a defensive bunter there, and Belthanos is a monster, so again, scary for any Flesh Eater thing that doesn't want to get roared to go in there right now. Not to mention that it's 6 Kurnoth with scythes.
Yes.
That's also scary in its own right. But that's basically it for my army. I took a bit of a risk for the battle tactic of Magical Dominance. I basically just had to outroll you.
Tried it.
But we saw Belthanos turning the terrain to arcane. It helped me a little bit. And yeah, that was the story. It was either that or I risked it on a 2-up run roll to get intimidate the invaders.
Yes.
But that kind of would force me outside of my safety bunker that I'm kind of in right now. Push me further out. Didn't want to do that, so it was going to be a risk either way. This was more of a risk, but with arcane and the, worst case scenario potential reroll. Not that I would just added all the primal. So happy got it in the end. That's all that matters.
Yep. No harm, no foul.
Yep, but that'll send us into priority for round 2. You're going to win ties. That's off the table. You roll 6.
Okay.
It's not going to matter.
Interesting.
Yep. Jake, it's up to you.
Oh, it is up to me. All this power. What do I want? You raised an interesting point last turn. If I gave you Prio here, it's tempting, but who knows? If you Hive again and the Kurnoth bows don't roll as badly, I could lose my Terrorgeist.
Yep.
Very easily.
Yep.
So I think, just for the sake of trying to get some value out of the Terrorgeist, before he is inevitably pincushioned, I will take this turn.
Okay. Sounds good. So I guess we'll go into Flesh Eater Courts, turn 2.
Hoping to catch their enemy flat-footed, the Flesh Eater's battle tactic is United Court. The Ghoul King on Terrorgeist uses their finest hour, while the Arch Revenant fails heroic leadership. The Ghoul King on Terrorgeist uses Ravenous Crusaders. The Archregent casts Ferocious Hunger on the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist, but fails to cast a range transformation. The Ghoul King casts Black Hunger on Ghoul King on Terrorgeist, who in turn has Unholy Vitality Unbound. The Kurnoth Hunters redeploy, moving 5 inches. The Ghoul King on Terrorgeist deals 2 mortal wounds on impact with his Corpsebane Gauntlet. The Terrorgeist fails his Stomp, but when he attacks, he deals 5 damage to the Kurnoth with swords and 24 damage to those with bows. Using Feeding Frenzy to fight again, the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist finishes off both units of Kurnoth Hunters. That's definitely not good. Dealing a devastating blow to their enemy's force, the Flesh Eaters complete their battle tactic and score 5 points.
Well, Flesh Eater Court, things happened.
Yep. You got, I mean, big things are, you got +4 attacks.
+4 attacks.
Yeah. As much as you can ever hope for.
Yeah, so you kind of put the fear of Kurnoth in me last turn when you were suggesting you could shoot off my screens, you could pop off the Spite Swarm, get into my Ghoul King. So I I'm living on borrowed time. You made me realize my own mortality. So I said, if I'm gonna die anyway, Blaze of Glory, baby.
Yep.
So we did Finest Hour, we did Run and Charge, which is why we play Hollowmorn. Just unmatched. You can guarantee you can get where you need to go. Rolled hot on the spell casting, got the big +4 attacks, got into both units of Kurnoth.
Yep.
And we rolled enough 6s. We got all 6 bows, we got 3 swords. He's now dead. Yeah. He's gonna die. You've made him the hunt. You're gonna make him the hunt.
I have the option to now.
Yes, you could. I'm suspecting you will.
Yes. Yeah.
But salute to the Terrorgeist.
He did a great job. That was like 750 points he just killed nearly.
Yep. I cannot complain.
Yeah, no, very, very good. Obviously, that's where Feeding Frenzy is so good.
Yep.
Didn't have a monster over there, obviously.
Yep.
So much more susceptible. And yeah, the Feeding Frenzy plus with the extra 4 attacks, that more than quadruples his potential output with 1 activation.
Yes, that was vintage Flesh Eater Courts.
Yeah.
And now
it's gruesome.
Yep. The other half of Flesh Eater Courts is dying unceremoniously on the hitback, which I will now pass to you.
Okay, sounds good. We'll jump into Sylvaneth, turn 2.
Needing to respond in kind and refocus their hunt, the Sylvaneth battle tactic is Trophy Kill. Belthanos uses A Prized Quarry is sighted on the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist. Then a Varkolf uses Heroic Willpower. The Ghoul King on Terrorgeist dispels the Spite Swarm Hive. Then the Arch Revenant casts Mystic Shield on Belthanos. Trying to escape the Kurnoth Hunters, the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist redeploys and moves 3 inches. Belthanos fails his roar and the Terrorgeist fails as well. The Kurnoth use Call to Battle but only deal 12 damage, leaving the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist alive with 2 wounds. Thankful for the chance to fight, the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist deals 21 damage to the Kurnoth, then uses Feeding Frenzy to fight again and finishes them off. The Revenant Seekers deal 5 damage to the Flayers, who deal 4 damage in retaliation. Belthanos attacks and finishes off the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist, who then explodes with magical energy and deals 5 mortal wounds to various units. Taking down their quarry, but with far too many losses, the Sylvaneth complete their battle tactic and score 5 points.
Well,
This did not go to plan. I achieved my battle tactic.
a 5-point turn.
I got my objectives.
Wow.
Turn went perfectly on the scoreboard.
Yes.
Now, you would have seen it. Big, not even necessarily a whiff, actually. So, my turnoff didn't take down the dual cannon terror dice on one shot, which was what I needed to do.
Yes.
Especially after having failed to roar.
Big.
I didn't do all-out attack with them. I used Call to Battle instead, so I could use all-out attack somewhere else.
Yep.
Notably, I actually probably needed it on the Revenant Seekers to take the guy down.
Force, yeah.
And I rolled badly.
You did.
And I only did 5 damage, so very likely could have failed that if I didn't save the all-out attack for them.
Yep.
Should have still taken down the dual cannon terror dice. No missed shield, no finest hour, run 3. Like, I just, on 3s and 3s because of Call to Battle had an extra attack, but it just wasn't quite efficient enough on the. I think it was the wounds is what let me down.
That's what let you down. Yeah.
Yes. I think this is a good time to note. We'll talk more about the sub-faction and stuff at the end, but I got excited at the start of the turn with realizing I could make him my Corey, the dual cannon terror dice.
Yeah.
It allowed me to do that battle tactic, which I thankfully achieved.
Yep.
Couple of cool interactions there. So that was neat. But the buffs that you get for your Corey and the different things is only at the start of the battle round. So where I could have been at 5
of my cool stuff,
of my points for what is it? The
extra melee attack plus
the harming hunting exactly.
Yeah.
So I got the +1 to run and charge, but I would have been +1 to hit and wound, +1 attack. Would have been what, like 5 attacks?
5 attacks
on each of those
2s
turn off?
and 2s.
Yeah.
No question, I'm dead.
It would have been insane. Now, yes, it would have been really good. There's a lot you give up in this sub-faction, notably like this is a different army style. You play more mid-board, made me more susceptible. So realizing I wasn't getting all those buffs was kind of disappointing because it's, again, start of battle round. So obviously, in the end, didn't have quite enough damage with the turn-off to take him down in one go.
Yes.
What kind of saved me from actually still getting the battle tactic and taking down the dual cane.
This is cool.
Dual cane was turn-off hunters with size have a rule: when you pile in, you take a mortal wound.
Yes.
You did your first pile in, and then we rolled it after because we had forgotten about it at first. But you took the mortal wound on the first pile in. And decided with your second attack not to do your pile-in move, so you wouldn't suffer the mortal.
Because if I had, I could have piled away. The intent was I was going to pile around the Kurnoth unit, take it outside of 6 of Belthanos.
Which you would have been.
Which I would have been.
Or outside 5. Even.
Outside, even outside 5. But then, yes, I would have to roll. If I did a second pile-in, I'd take the thorns again. If I'd fail that one ward. You
possibly, lose the hero before you get a chance to heal or to attack. Which again would be huge. I have 2 turn-off left, can rally them, can bring some back with these guys. So you wanted to guarantee that. Again, failed the roar. So you were talking about it as soon as I started attacking. You're like, all I want is
this guy to live.
Fail your roar, leave you alive with 1 or 2 wounds.
I'm a happy Ghoul King.
So Belthanos then did the last wound. So at least again, glory for Belthanos. And got the battle tactic and all that. So that was cute. It's going to give me some points here for my stuff. The next, Corey targets and all that. I do, again, because I took down one Flayer, I take the center objective. So we're tied going into priority for round 3.
Here we go.
Not tied on the table, I wouldn't say. That's a 5.
You got a double.
All right, I am obviously going to take it here.
All right.
Let's get another turn of storing in, see what we can do, and jump into Sylvaneth turn 3.
With few resources to continue their hunt, the Sylvaneth battle tactic is led into the Maelstrom, and 2 Flayers are marked as their quarry. Belthanos fails heroic leadership, while the Crypt Haunter Courtier succeeds. Belthanos bestows the unending hunt to the Revenant Seekers. Belthanos' Carnelian Greatspite uses Merciful Strike and kills a Flayer. Belthanos splits his attacks and takes out the Courtier and last Flayer, which secures another quarry kill. The ghouls use Feeding Frenzy and deal a total of 7 damage to the Revenant Seekers. Then the Seekers deal 7 damage in retaliation. The ghouls and horrors attack, but aren't able to deal any damage to Belthanos. The 3 remaining ghouls use Inspiring Presence. Fighting on despite their losses, the Sylvaneth complete their battle tactic and score 5 points.
All right, very thankful to win priority there.
Yep.
Tried to just put you in as awkward a spot as I could. Putting pressure on one of your other objectives. I just want to make it as hard for scoring for you as possible.
Sure.
And that's basically the name of the game. I got up to 3 points with my Corey stuff to get a bunch of buffs.
Yep.
But actually I lost a bunch of those buffs because I then killed my Corey target and was no longer in that range or like in that quarter anymore.
You can't call another one.
So it would have like, our first instinct was like, okay, I get to call another Corey target, but looking it up, it's again, started my next hero phase or the next battle round. So, I mean, a little disappointing. Like those buffs are so good, but you saw it's like, I didn't even really get to use them.
Right.
And it is like awkwardly restrictive of like the table quarters. Because it like, if you're playing like here where you're on the edge of table quarters, okay, I wasn't in it for the charge. Unit dies, so I lose the buffs on the other stuff. Like, you'd think it'd be like a range of something like maybe like a range of the Corey rather than the table quarter. Because you could be right next to him, but not be getting the buffs because...
For sure.
Yeah, so it's a little clunky, I felt, this sub-faction. But again, I do take this objective for what it's worth.
Yep.
Not that I'm not going to hold it for long, you can just walk onto it, but makes you do that. I threw Belthanos with Mystic Shield, tied up the horrors, which was huge because they don't want to be fighting him.
Nope.
And just again, trying to tie up one of your big pieces. Now you have a bunch of other peripheral units and notably like your heroes that can all pop off.
Yeah.
I'm expecting to lose my bugs, but again, it allows me to kind of put the pressure on you, be tying you up.
Yeah.
And hopefully trying to restrict.
You can keep scoring.
Yeah, exactly. I've got options, so going to be all like you said, some scoring options still in the game to try and keep it close. Or maybe if I get lucky and can deny a few points, maybe the win's still on the table. But we'll have to find out. We'll jump into Flesh Eater towards turn 3.
Confident in their advantage, but still wary of their foe, the Flesh Eater's battle tactic is bait and trap. The Varghulf uses their finest hour, and Belthanos uses heroic leadership. The Ghoul King casts Black Hunger on the Varghulf, and the Archregent casts Ferocious Hunger on him as well. Then the Regent casts Deranged Transformation on the Ghouls. The Varghulf consumes the Bilious Decanter, then takes out the Revenant Seekers in combat. Despite having nothing to attack, the Flayers use Feeding Frenzy so they're able to pile in twice for some extra movement. Continuing their campaign while minimizing their risks, the Flesh Eaters complete their battle tactic and score 5 points.
Well, you kind of just we parted the map around the giant bug here. There's no mathematically no way he's gonna die.
You're so scared, so intimidated.
I'm very intimidated. He is scary. So instead, I just kind of pivoted around him. I had thankfully, because you went for the pin, which is good for you, but it's also good for me because it opens up bait and trap.
Yep.
So I fell back these units. I charged with the supercharged Varghulf with all the buffs on him. Just he went nuclear, wiped the bugs off the face of the earth.
Yep.
And I'm just spreading out as much as I can because I think you still have a lot of scoring juice left. Even with two models left.
I have the potential, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So I still have to treat this with... I have to be on the top of my game here because you can keep it very close, maybe even win if some crazy things go your way.
There are options.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously devastating blows to the Sylvaneth, but tied game going into round 4.
Game.
So priority.
Boom.
It's a 5.
You can do it.
Oh, we're going to take it. Keeping with it, going to keep in the game. Let's see if we can get another 5 as we go into Sylvaneth turn 4.
Defiant in the face of the overwhelming odds, the Sylvaneth battle tactic is intimidate the invaders, and the central ghouls are targeted as their quarry. Belthanos fails heroic leadership, while a Varghulf succeeds. Belthanos uses Forward to Victory to re-roll his charge, then roars at the ghouls. Belthanos attacks and kills the ghouls, collecting yet another quarry. Willing to fight on till their final breaths, the Sylvaneth complete their battle tactic and score 5 points.
All right, who needs 1,200 points of turn-off when you have Belthanos, right?
Not you.
Right, so a bit of a lot. I had a lot to think about at the start of this turn in terms of just like battle tactics, trying to get my points. I had 2 battle tactics, potential options of what, 2 different options of objectives to go for, but to get both the battle tactic and the objective was tough. Required, I had to reroll my charge to get a long enough one that with my pile in, I could get wholly within this quarter. For Intimidate the Invaders, and tied this objective so that I could take it while killing the ghouls so that you have nothing on this one, so that Belthanos can remain on that one. So those kind of pieces all had to come together, and they did. Belthanos, +1 hidden wound now, obviously with the Quarry of the Ghouls, and +1 attack ripped through the ghouls pretty well. And, so I've got 3 quarries down now. That's big. I only need 1. I need to kill a unit basically turn 5, and I'll get my grand strategy. So I actually thought this grand strategy was really tough, but hey, I have options here, right? So that's the game. That's where we're sitting at right now. I, again, scored my 5 points, so I'm keeping it close, trying to force that tie. That's basically it. Whole objectives game, I think, is going to be the tough part in round 5, but I guess we'll just jump into first. Flesh-Eater Courts, turn 4.
Confident but patient while the fight rages on, the Flesh Eater's battle tactic is surround and destroy. The Varghulf fails heroic leadership while Belthanos uses their finest hour. The Varghulf uses Ravenous Crusaders, then the Ghoul King fails to cast Hoarfrost. The Archregent fails to cast Ferocious Hunger, but casts Deranged Transformation on the ghouls. Not needing to fight to achieve their goals, the Flesh Eaters complete their battle tactic and score 5 points.
All right, well, this has really been a far cry from how the game started, where there was once war. There's now a season of peace. Absolutely no attacks whatsoever of either the ranged or melee variety this turn.
Fear. Instilling fear.
Instilling fear. It does look quite majestic. If I'm just spreading out the board, I've sequenced my battle tactics in a way that I've got all the interactive ones done on the earlier turns. Now my remaining battle tactics are just move into a certain place. So that's what I'm doing. I've basically covered all 5 objectives, hoping that you can only take back 2 on your next turn, and that way even if you did get your battle tactic and your grand strat, I could win by 1 if I don't get Brio. So that's where things are. Either way, it's going to be a super close game. You'll have some decisions to make regarding...
It is definitely going to be tough. First step is figuring out who's taking the turn, so priority for round 5.
Boom.
That's a 2.
6.
All right. Jake?
Yeah, I got to think about how I want to do this. So yeah, I'll just take the prio for the guaranteed scoring.
Okay, sounds good.
Take my points.
So I think it'll be a quick turn probably, but we'll jump into Flesh-Eater Courts turn 5.
Ready to finally close their grip and claim victory, the Flesh Eater's battle tactic is Intimidate the Invaders. The Varghulf uses heroic leadership while Belthanos fails, and the Sylvaneth quarry is the Flayers. Belthanos redeploys and moves 2 inches closer to the Flayers. The Flayer's death screams deal 2 damage to the Archrevenant. The Varghulf deals 3 damage to the Archrevenant, then uses Feeding Frenzy to attack again and takes them down. Nearly sealing the flawless campaign, the Flesh Eaters complete their battle tactic and score 5 points.
All right, so I've wrapped up my turn 5. I did actually kill something this turn. I killed 1 single model, which was the Archrevenant. I didn't want to do it on earlier turns because I was a little bit worried
about reprisal.
Giving you reprisal. But now we've kind of figured out that now you have reprisal. But you have to go this way to get your grand strat.
There's trade-offs. Even before that, it's like battle tactic or grand strat, choose one.
Sure.
For my turn 5. So it's tough. I'll be able to score some points. So obviously we're going to fight down to the wire. I don't think a miracle can happen, but again, yeah, we'll do everything we can. See if we can get that 4th quarry.
Sure.
Jump into Sylvaneth, turn 5.
Standing alone but determined to honor Kurnoth, the Sylvaneth battle tactic is encircled. Belthanos uses heroic leadership while the Varghulf fails. Belthanos fails his roar, but attacks and still takes out the Flayers, who were his final quarry. While the first Thorn of Kurnoth completes his hunt, the Sylvaneth fail their battle tactic and only score 1 point.
Sylvaneth, turn 5 is pretty quick as well. Again, with the way things worked out, I didn't have great options. Could have gone for Reprisal.
Yep.
But again, is that or the Grand Strat? Too few units, obviously, in most of this game to be able to contest super well.
Yep.
A couple things to talk about. So I chose a battle tactic that, again, is super counterintuitive.
Mm-hmm.
It's both relevant and not relevant. I have to have my whole army here, easy at the end of the game,
Yep.
within the same table quarter as my quarry.
Yes.
Easy, theoretically, because I only have one model, so it's just one. Even if it was my Arch Revenant, I could have put him over there.
Yep.
Easy in theory, but if I kill my quarry, which is my only grand strategy available is to kill 4 quarries,
Yes.
then I'm no longer in the table quarter of my quarry.
Yeah.
So I can't both get my battle tactic and grand strategy, which is silly.
Yep.
Now, maybe like they're not the units there, so I'm by definition not in that quarter of my quarry anymore. Now maybe it's like they want to retroactively make that the table quarter the quarry was in when selected or something. Sure. Could have seen me get my battle tactic in 3 points this turn, but I'm just going to get the 1.
Yep.
1 point, so I'll be down 4. Though killing those Flayers does score me my grand strategy, so 3 points at the end for myself. You obviously have Spellcast and Savant, hiding in the corner. You'll get your grand strategy, but 4 points in round 5 is going to be the difference in this game.
28-24 for a game where you probably had 2 models on the table for like 3 turns.
Yeah.
So it's good at scoring.
Yeah, did what he could.
Yeah.
Lots to talk about, I think. Obviously, the Evergreen hunt, kind of being the Army of Renown sub-faction, is kind of the big thing to talk about first.
Yep.
Thematic, there's some it's cool.
It is cool.
It's cool.
Very cool.
If you're playing Path of Glory, or you're just doing it for the style points or the flavor, it's fun. The mechanics are a little clunky and counterintuitive. I think it's it feels like just with a little more polish, this sub-faction could have been really run a lot smoother.
Yeah.
There's a couple things that I found didn't work very well. One was choosing or figuring how many quarry points you have or whatever at the start of the battle round rather than the start of each turn.
Yep.
Meant if you killed something or whatever, you moved into a territory, different things. I don't remember when that came up, but it's I guess if your opponent moves up and then you're in their territory, you could get more points for your turn. Doesn't work that way. So the fact that you only checked at the start of battle rounds is kind of unfortunate.
Burned you a few times.
Yeah. Again, that battle tactic was really silly. There's only 1 artifact and 1 grand strategy in the sub-faction, so those aren't great. The battle tactics, again, I think there are 2 fairly achievable ones. Maybe even a third one is all right. And then I think the big kind of elephant in the room is wow, everything you're giving up in Sylvaneth.
Yeah.
For this, it's a cool way to play again Kurnoth heavy builds with this amazing new model in Belthanos, but in a practical sense, probably not worth it.
Yeah.
Fun and flavorful, 100%.
100%.
So cool from that regard. And Belthanos hunting down. Did he kill all 4 quarries? He did.
He did.
He killed all 4 quarries. Yeah. So
the Hunt Master, indeed.
Yeah. So that was really cool. It was a lot of fun playing with him. He's amazing. So
let's put the sub-faction aside.
Sub-faction is fun and flavorful. We'll leave it at that.
Not competitive.
Not the
Belthanos.
Belthanos is a fucking, excuse my language, beast.
Very competitive.
We are so in love with him.
Yes.
First, we were talking before, the Warsong Revenant when he came out opened up.
Change the army.
Warsong Revenant changed the army.
Centralize the army.
Opened up a lot of things that Sylvaneth needed with reliable spellcasting. A good spellcasting savant or GC or whatever throughout the edition. So good reliable casting.
Yep.
he now brings another dynamic to the army that opens up different play styles, different builds, another like kind of area, a tool that can help fill the gaps of Sylvaneth in some ways. So a great pick. Like, big things to note. Not only is he great on his own, but his number one thing, 18-inch aura,
massive.
Run and charge.
Totally changes the army. Massive.
So yeah, obviously run and charge is really strong. It's a slow-moving army, so I think kind of obvious there. And there's just again, so many different synergies that unlocks.
To me, he just checks all the boxes. So we say, is he a smash hero? Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he can hit.
Is he a tanky hero? Yeah, he's 3-up save.
It's the same as a tree lord. Like he's like Durthu, maybe a little less damaged, can't take the same artifacts and stuff, but he's got the speed.
And then he enables. He does. He's not a self-contained smash unit. He's an army changer. So one of the most underrated things I think is his terrain morphing ability. Set up your own arcane. Set up your own damned, and just have access to +1 to hit whenever you want it and heal it off. Right.
Your Warsong Revenants are going to be reliably casting on +2.
And then his 18-inch, he's got the utility command ability to retreat and charge. Great, Sylvaneth love that. And then he just opens up a totally new playstyle. He gives the units that need mobility the mobility that they've always wanted. And then he kind of does, we talked about this earlier, he does a parallel to Ilario. A lot of Sylvaneth players who are kind of tired of relying on like Durthu, Spiteswarm Hive builds, which notoriously roll 1s, as it did this game. Some of them play Ilario because Ilario has the speed to just go forward. She hits up and she teleports away.
Or the Revenant Seekers, or the Spite Riders.
This guy does that as well. He's filling that Ilario niche, and if you want to get away from the Spiteswarm Hive tyranny of
at least not depending on it purely, right?
Yes, he's a great option for that. So when I look at this is a complete war scroll to me. He's good on his own merits.
5 aboard as well. Like
you talked about, maybe running a War Singer list with this guy. Which
so War Singer, if you're not a Sylvaneth player, it's the second best heroic
command trait
that you never see because Spell Singer is so good.
It's so good.
But this is +3 move to your army. The command trait is an aura of +3 move. Now you look at something like Kurnoth Hunters. They're now moving 8. Minimum 14 with an auto run 6 of running and charges. So now your unit of Kurnoth Hunters are moving 14 inches without interaction. You put that up to 17 inches with a Spiteswarm Hive and a +3 to charge. That's amazing.
This guy's just a massive consistency boost. In addition to being a good strike and fade. In addition to being tanky. So
and hit well.
Very. We'll have to math it out, but I guarantee he's pretty close to Durthu with no Gradius. Which is. We'll take it. We're happy about that. Really visually stunning model. Don't need to tell you guys that, but War Scroll, this guy's the whole package, I think. I love this guy.
Big fan. We like we said, both big Sylvaneth players. We both love him. It's going to unlock the army in so many new and exciting ways, which is the coolest thing. So in terms of the Sylvaneth box, which is what we featured on the table, for Belthanos alone, huge win for Sylvaneth. The sub-faction, again, fun and flavorful. The box also does come with 3 Spite Riders or the Revenant Seekers and 3 Kurnoth, which is a great value box, so huge win there. But for Belthanos alone, I think...
I'm getting one.
Yeah.
Day one, I'll be getting them.
Every Sylvaneth player is going to want it. Can't say enough about the model. Matches my conversion for my Celestin Prime.
When I walked in, I thought it was a conversion.
So super excited about that and run them together. Definitely didn't saw it in my list, but guys, a lot of fun here tonight. Jake, awesome. It was a pleasure playing.
Thank you so much.
Flesh Eaters take the win.
It's finally over.
Going 2-1 in our triple header. Close one here though. 4-point difference in the end.
Massive.
And can't ask for much more. Some heroics from the Dual Canyon Terror Dice, ripping through, killing literally every single one of my Kurnoth.
1,200 points models, ballpark?
Exactly. So that was rough, but Sylvaneth, like you said, can still store well. Would have been, love to see the opportunity if I had even my Kurnoth with size.
Absolutely.
What we could have done, but again, kept it close, did everything we could, so can't ask for much more. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoy our battle reports. Don't forget, if you want to help support the channel and get an extra battle report every week, you can check out the join button. You can check out our YouTube membership by hitting the join button below this video. Again, it goes a long way to support the channel. You get extra content. We're gonna have some more. We'll be showing off Cryptborn in an all dragons list in a couple days for our premium members. So stay tuned for that. That's gonna be super exciting as well. Lots to be excited about with AOS right now. I'm pumped. Jake, thank you again so much.
Thank you.
Guys, we appreciate you, and we'll see you soon in another battle report.
Cheers.